Hello, my love, and welcome to Mama T Energy. I'm Tiara, aka Mama T, and I invite you on a journey to loving your life through stories, channeled messages, and energy work. I love life, and it is my mission to guide you and millions like us to discovering our passion for life. So let's open our hearts and dive in. Today's conversation is around receivership. And this is a theme that I want to bring forward for myself in 2025. And I wanted to kind of share the concepts with you that I am really diving into and exploring for myself. So, receivership. And the definition that I am coming to understand is being in this space to simply allow yourself to receive. Very simple, very easy. And I have found that for myself in receiving, there are so many layers that I've needed to peel back and peel away and let go of around just allowing for pleasure, gifts, fun to show up for me without feeling any sort of obligation, any sort of shame or judgment around it. So, thinking about it, for example, going on a trip, right? I live halfway across the country, or not halfway, all the way across the country from my family, and having a family member pay for me to fly back home, there has been an element of judgment over the years with having it paid not like from them, but from myself, like judging myself and shaming myself as I'm an adult and I should pay for all of my travel. And somewhere deep within me, that is like some belief that has been ingrained or some thought that has been created within me. And so when these opportunities show up for me, rather than to be in full gratitude for the experience, it's overshadowed by this feeling of self-resentment, this feeling of shame, this feeling of fear, honestly. It all kind of ties back to fear. Where the fear comes from, I don't know, but it's goes back to this rejection space, right? Fear of being rejected because I am not following some particular norm, some particular rule that I don't even know who placed this upon us, but it is because like a societal rule, and now therefore I somehow believe that I'm less than. Right. And so this is something that I've taken the time to really look at and uncover and pull away from myself because I love this vibration of receiving because you receive, giving because you give, doing because you do. My most recent mentor, Jacqueline Shaw, is the one that's kind of brought this to the forefront from me. She did the last episode of Mama T Energy of 2024. So if you haven't tapped into her conversations yet, definitely please do go check that episode out. She is a powerhouse and she is full of amazing, wonderful insight. And so hearing that phrase, like I receive because I receive, meaning that there is no action required for it. There's nothing to do. No, like, oh, I'll give you $5, but in turn you have to do your chores. There is nothing to be done except receiving. You don't even have to be grateful for it if you don't want to, right? But I have found gratitude does lead to receiving more. But in that regard, it's just allowing the space to receive, allowing it to be this beautiful, wonderful experience for ourselves. So let me know in the comments if you've ever experienced where someone's given you some sort of gift, and instead of having this expansive, like, oh my gosh, this is great. Thank you. There's like this immediate thought of like, oh my God, like especially if it's like a nice gift, right? Like this has a high monetary value to you. And so all of a sudden you're like, how could I ever repay this gift? And I feel like that's a phrase that really shows up in a lot in movies and books too. Like, how will I ever repay you for this amazing thing? So it really shows how we've created this norm of we must repay the gifts we are given. We must give in order to receive. We must, if someone gives us a gift, we have to exchange it unless it's like our birthday or something. That's the only time that we can receive without giving. And even in that, a lot of times it is tied to like, well, I'm giving a birthday party as a like in order to receive these gifts, or not necessarily in order to receive the gifts, but it's like I'm receiving all these gifts from the guests at my birthday party. But in hosting this birthday party, I'm providing food and entertainment. So there is still like this like equivalent exchange idea behind it. But what if we simply received? What if someone walks up to you and just hands you $20? How would that make you feel? Or even like $100 bill. Someone you've never met in your entire life just walks up to you, looks you in the eye, gives you a smile, and hands you $100 and walks away. No questions asked, no verbal exchange. How would that make you feel? Would it lead to like I don't know. I feel like it's so unheard of that you would look at that dollar, and maybe it's just me, that $100. If I looked at a $100 bill that someone randomly handed to me, I'd be like, what's going on? Am I being punked right now? Is this laced with something? Am I about to like pass out? Like, is there like some sort of chloroform thing on it and I'm about to pass out and be taken somewhere? Like, there's just like an immediate distrust, I feel, if that situation were to happen. So I'm curious how, if you were to be like, oh, someone just literally handed me $100, I am so thankful for it. Thank you. Awesome. What can we just simply receive? No attachment, no reason for it, only that you were simply here. You're simply here in this space, and so you receive. And this is such a freeing practice. And I've noticed over the last couple of days, as this is like what the second day into 2025 as of this recording, but I've over the week, I've really wanted to integrate this feeling coming off of the Christmas holiday and recognizing these moments of like, oh, I just received there, this person gave me a ride to, this person gave me a ride from the airport, didn't give gas money, this or there and there was no expectation of giving gas money. Being receiving meals from people, receiving gifts from members of my family and friends that I wasn't expecting to receive a holiday gift from, and just like being super excited of like, oh my gosh, thank you. I didn't recognize this was gonna happen. Thank you. Or going to an event and expecting that I was gonna pay my way and finding out that it was already covered. Like, oh, thank you for this experience, right? And hearing back that just you taking the time out of your day to be here is enough, right? So being in these moments where I'm like, oh, I'm going to lean into just gratitude. Uh, I know that in some way, shape, or form, I'm going to pay it forward, but I'm not going to tie the paying it forward to this, like, oh, I received this thing. What am I going to do to pay it forward, either to the person that gave it to me or someone else in the universe? Like, I need to check off the box. No, 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 no. My receiving line is completely open, and what I give is going to be freely and unconditionally given. I think back to Christmases past, and I remember once upon a time, I like had a list of people, like people who I just genuinely enjoyed spending time with, genuinely enjoyed our conversations, thought we were close friends, and I wanted to give. And I had this list was a long list of people. I feel like I had like 20 people on this list of who I wanted to give stuff to. And so I had my parents take me to the dollar store so that I could afford to buy all these gifts. Because at that time I, I don't know, I think I was like in sixth grade, so I wasn't driving, didn't have a job, but I was getting an allowance. And so I was like, all right, this is how much cash I have, and I can use this to buy these people. And there are some people that I might have gotten nicer gifts for, and other people I got what I could afford. I just wanted to be able to give. Giving for the sake of giving. I had no idea whether or not they were going to give me a gift either, or whatever. And I remember hearing like, oh wow, you're buying a lot of different things for different people. Is everybody getting you something in return? And I was like, no, I don't know. I just really wanted to give. And it was like being told that there was something wrong with giving because I was just being taken advantage of. And I understand where that fear comes from, and that is definitely something that we need to be aware of in the world, of course. If there is someone that's trying to siphon your energy and not needing or if there is someone who is not having your best intentions in mind, right? That is something that we definitely can bring awareness to. But in the experience of giving, receiving, and doing, if you are in a place where you are confident and secure in yourself and you are in this grounded space and you know that other person does have the best intentions in mind and in heart, they are people that are kind and loving. It does not matter whether or not they're going to give you a gift if you desire to give them a gift, right? You can just give unconditionally and trust that it's going to come back tenfold down the line. And so that is the remembering that I am having of like, I want to bring back that version of me, that version that was like, I just like, I see this thing and it reminds me of this person and this person makes me happy. So I want to gift them this. I just had the best conversation with a server at a bar, or maybe I'm somewhere else where I'm receiving a service and I have the best conversation with the person. And so I want to give a higher than normal tip, right? I just want to give because I want to get like it just feels like the thing to do. And yes, I did say that I received great service or whatever, and this is just my way, but it's not like, oh, I have to pay for the good service. It's like it just feels good to give. And whether or not they ever treat me the same exact way ever again doesn't matter. It's just like, I'm so elated to just share and give. Or even if I see someone, on the street, right? And I feel it in my heart that it's time to give. I get to give. And while I give of an open heart, I also know that it all comes back. It does all come back. And there is this idea that some people have of like, oh, with law of attraction, I'm gonna go out and buy an expensive steak that's past my like, what I am feasibly able to afford. And I know that if I go buy this steak, I'm gonna manifest $1 million. And I want to say that there is some corruption to that structure. And so when we talk about giving there and receiving, the channels, again, they're clear, right? So you give because you give unconditionally. But I do want you to understand there is this knowing that when we have this open heart of giving, there's no timeline, there's no attachment, there's no nothing. Knowing that giving and this full openness has this level of gratitude with it, of being able to be like, I'm so grateful that I have these gifts to share with the world and I'm sharing freely, whether it's of monetary value, whether it's like knowledge that you're sharing, whatever it is down the line, of course, something's going to come back. It might show up for you immediately after you do this beautiful deed, or it may show up, a couple years from now. You never know, right? But knowing that, oh my gosh, I remember when I did this thing, and then this feels like an alignment with what I did. Like you have these miracle moments down the line, of course, but the like, I'm doing this because I want to receive in the future is not the energy in which you're going to get that full manifestation, is what I'm trying to convey here. So, with that, we're talking about the receivership. Receivership is, it feels like the God Zone, which is a program that I've been participating in over the last month or so. And it's this energy of gratitude and love. And that is the vibration in which we want to really lean into for both giving, receiving, and doing. What actions are we taking? Moving our body with love, moving, like when I think about exercise, right? Over the years, how much the exercise was a act of self-hatred, of hating my curves, hating the weight, hating the pounds, hating the scale. And it was just this movement out of frustration. But then I came to a place where, I had opportunities to work out in community as a part of a team, as a part of a gym. And there was this element of fun to it. And movement from fun feels so much better for me, right? Movement because this brings me joy, movement because the music is just so good. It's the same calories being burned, but I don't know, I feel like it might even be more calories being burned because you can't help but be even more excited and moving and laughing and smiling and smiling. I think, what is it? Smiling fires more muscles than frowning does. So it's better for you, I guess. I don't know. You feel better. Your energy is better. Your energy is clearer. And that puts you in a beautiful space to receive whatever it is that you desire. When we can remove these walls of having to do something, having to earn whatever it is that we desire, when we remove the wall and just allow ourselves to simply be, being is enough to receive, that's where the magic happens. And I want to invite you to be in the space of the Miracle Mastermind, that space where we are creating magic for ourselves. You're ready to do the work, you're ready to bring forward awareness for yourself. If you're ready to give your energy to a community that will give energy right back to you in a divine circle, right? Allowing you to give because you want to give, allowing yourself to receive because you want to receive. I invite you to be a part of the Miracle Mastermind. The link is in the description of this podcast episode. So thank you so much for considering it. And I also invite you to check out Activate Your Inner Shift. I invite you to subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already. There's so much magic for us today. But before we hop off for the evening, I do want to take a moment of just silence and allowing ourselves to simply be and find what that feels like for you. Taking a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth, in through your nose again, out through your mouth. One more deep, controlled breath and out. Allowing yourself to just be in your body. Allowing yourself to be uncomfortable if you haven't had the moment of silence with yourself in a while. Allowing yourself to find peace within yourself. A practice of being, a practice in receiving the sounds around you, receiving the air that you are breathing, receiving the wind on your face or the temperature that you're feeling against your skin, receiving this moment. taking it a step further and finding gratitude for this moment. A moment to simply slow down and be in the body, be in your body, knowing yourself, trusting yourself, aligning yourself with what it is that you desire to experience in this life. You are empowered and ready to take on the world. Whenever you're ready, wiggle your fingers and your toes and blink open your eyes, coming back into your physical space and go and attack your day. Have the best day, have the best night, or whatever time it is that you are tapping into Mama T energy. And I will see you where I see you next. Mwah.